Modern Warfare 3 is the worst Call of Duty in history, but it's full of past favorites. History is about to repeat itself for this franchise, and this is not a good look for the future, or the past. So the latest Call of Duty installment has come out once again, and the COD cycle continues its regular routine. People are saying that this is the best COD we've ever had, but this statement could not be further from the truth. So let's take a deep dive into what Sledgehammer Games has given us to play with this year. The sequel to Activision's Modern Warfare 2, according to marketing teams, is an overhaul of new and amazing content, from faster movement speed, a better UI, new perk cosmetics, and an evolutionary open-world zombies experience. Sounds like a great upgrade from what we got in Modern Warfare 2, right? Well, that's what we would say if it wasn't something we've already seen before. The problem that players are getting from this new game is that it's not really a new game. The graphics are basically the same as what we had last year. Movement was great in all the CODs before Modern Warfare 2019, and the perk cosmetics don't do anything special. They're still the same perks we've seen time and time again, except this time they took the clothes off our players' backs and called them perks. Even the previous holder of the worst Call of Duty title, Vanguard, was working on a new zombies experience with the concept of open world. If we piled this entire game together, it's really nothing more than a Modern Warfare 2 DLC, complete with some extra features we didn't have before and some quality of life updates. At least it's just a DLC and it's not a full new game costing us full price, because that would be awful. Wait a minute. Are you serious? You have got to be kidding me. Who allowed this multi-billion-dollar franchise to make a DLC type game and make people pay full $70 for it? Like we just mentioned, this game has nothing new and not much of an upgrade from what we had in Modern Warfare 2. This was the first strike this company made in ruining their entire reputation. Oh, but wait, it gets worse. Now that the full game is here and we get access to everything it has in store for us, we get to see what else they decided to do to ruin this game. After unlocking your loadout option, you'll notice when you go to make a class, you can, and I kid you not, use your Modern Warfare 2 weapons, camos, charms, and operators in Modern Warfare 3. Guys, seriously? You expect me to believe that this is a new game and yet everything I did last year is in this one too? So even if you're fine with playing this game and starting to use the new weapons, more on that in just a little bit, you can easily get outgunned by fully kitted out TAC 56s with Orion camos. Speaking of the TAC 56, along with literally all other 50 weapons from Modern Warfare 2 coming to this game, the Modern Warfare 3 weapons aren't even all that new. The guns that we were given are basically reskinned weapons we have seen in the past, excluding maybe one or two weapons that are actually pretty unique. The guns that I'm going to pop up on the screen right now are side-by-side comparisons to what their counterpart was in the last game. The only difference that stands between them being different or the same is the game's mechanic of TTK, or time to kill. Every game they decide to tamper with this mechanic, which will make the weapons either really good or really bad. Typically though, this feature will always allow just one or a small handful of weapons to slide by and become what COD players like to call meta. But meta weapons are going to be topics for a later video. Anyway, these guns we have now are not too different from what we've had before, and this leads to the franchise's next strike, innovation. For this next segment, we're going to have to travel all the way back 4 years ago to the release of Modern Warfare 2019. For this year's COD release, we got a total revamp of the classic Modern Warfare franchise, complete with the best graphics we have ever seen up to that point, a new movement tactic, new and returning maps, and over 40 amazing weapons that were all really fun to use. Except for the riot shield and launchers. Yeah. Compared to the previous year's arcade-like Black Ops 4, the game was everything you could ever want in a realistic military-esque game. I would even argue that this was the best COD we've had in recent years. Everything about it felt so fresh and new, it was truly a great experience. Now, we're going to skip over 2020's release of Cold War because Treyarch is a topic for another day as well, but we're now going to talk about Sledgehammer's release of Vanguard. This is where it starts to become a realization that recycled content is going to become the new norm for this franchise. In this release, we got a World War II inspired experience, along with guns that really didn't feel like they were set in the right time, because we were running around with things like the automation that was a full auto, high round capacity weapon that would just melt through anyone trying to use an actual World War II based weapon. Even the MP40 fired way faster than it probably should have back in the early to mid 1940s. Be completely honest with y'all, I feel like this is because if we went from running around with full autos to slow single fire to like semi-automatic weapons overnight, it would have felt really bad. So Sledgehammer took what worked from the previous games and put it into their game with some World War II style reskins to match their era the game was in. And now we get to the release of Modern Warfare 2, a seemingly good looking game according to the trailers and early gameplay we were given. But boy were we wrong. The first thing we're going to roast in this awful game is the movement. Why was it so incredibly slow? It felt like I had to run a 4-minute mile just to get to the other side of some of these maps. Next is the elephant in the room, SBMM. The full term is skill-based matchmaking, and this is the equivalent of kryptonite to COD players. Why it was made, I still have no clue, but it was so prevalent in this game. So much so that they actually listened to one of our pleas to the devs and they actually added a ranked mode. To be completely honest, this was the best feature in the entire game, but even the ranked had problems. One of the major flaws of SBMM in the ranked mode is that it bases your opponents on just your skill level, nothing else. This led to players getting matched with people who could be on a completely different continent playing against them, which obviously led to some connection issues. And one of the wonderful mechanics of the ranked mode is that if you leave a match, you lose a big chunk of rank points to encourage you to finish all your matches. But with all these connection problems, sometimes you would be disconnected from a service issue. The game's code, however, didn't know if this was intentional or a service issue, so it just takes points away anyway. Hey Activision, these next few sentences are for you. How about, I know this sounds crazy, but hear me out. What if we had players play against opponents based on connection? That way we wouldn't have to worry about getting disconnected from games and have a better chance at not going up against CDL pros in our casual games. I know, crazy how that might actually solve the issue. Just think it over. I know you guys are more about making money over giving the community a good game to play, but still. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, we have one more issue we're going to go over in Modern Warfare 2, map design. Back in the good old days of the late 2000s, we were given many iconic maps that we still cherish to this day. In recent years, however, devs have been getting a lot of backlash for creating horrible maps. So much so that they started remastering old maps and putting them in their newer games. I'm going to make this next statement extremely simple so everyone understands. How hard is it to make a good map nowadays? They managed to make all of these classic maps once before, why can't they do it again with the new map designs? I'm astonished at how they can't seem to make a good map to the point that they have to use old maps and remake them with better graphics. How about you guys just turn your brains on for once, put the cocomelon down for a second, and start learning how to innovate rather than replicate. And that finally brings us to this year's release of Modern Warfare 3. There is no sugarcoating this game at all. It is genuinely so incredibly bad. You have everything Modern Warfare 2 had, but with faster speed and a new UI. I don't understand why people still continue to feed into the lies that these companies put out for us each year. They could literally give us the same game in a different installment and people would still buy it. Oh wait, they literally did that. Now, let me defend myself for a second in saying that I only purchased the game so that I can make these videos and return to YouTube. Buying this game was more of an investment rather than an entertainment purchase. But back to the game. The most popular maps that we have had in the past are back in this game as well. Classics including Terminal, High Rise, Rust, Afghan, Invasion, Scrapyard, and much more. I don't want to be a broken record too much this video, but here we go again with recycled ideas for map designs. Don't get me wrong, at least 40% of these maps are actually good enough to keep around and I enjoy playing them. They even work pretty well with the new camo challenges. Speaking of the new camo challenges, we actually got a really easy grind this year. So easy that some streamers managed to get the entire grind done for both multiplayer and zombies in under a week. Some of the notable examples of this is Reidboyy, who streamed for like over 300 hours straight or something like that. That's just unbelievable. People would put this amount of hours into a game that really isn't that great. But maybe he enjoyed it, I don't know. And now you know what I'm probably about to get into, the camos. We literally had these in the last! The camo grind isn't even worth doing because it's literally the exact same camos as last year. The gold is even worse than last year. The forged is just platinum but with the hexagon patterns, and interstellar is literally Orion, but with a different name. Wow, great design choice, guys. Where did you get it from? Oh, it was inspired by Modern Warfare 2's Orion camo? Okay, yeah, that's cool. Don't you dimwits realize that our partner company made that game and we are literally making a sequel to that game? I'm genuinely sorry for everyone going for the Mastery camos this year. Jeff. And I will be praying for every single one of you that you find joy or satisfaction in some form after you are done with it. This year is going to be really hard for creators to gain big numbers from this game because how similar it was to last year. And last year, all these creators tried out different games because COD was so bad. And the veterans that stayed with COD last year really didn't do as well as they could have, simply because the game just isn't that interesting to watch. I'm hoping that this year will be different somehow, since we also have a new Warzone coming soon, and then bringing back the old Resurgence maps according to some leaks online. If that's true, I'll definitely be making a video on it, whether it's good altogether or if it was a smart decision or not. I'm also hoping on the return of a ranked mode because I think that might be pretty fun on High Rise. Like, imagine a ranked match of Search and Destroy on High Rise 4v4. Sounds like so much fun. Despite the countless problems this game has, there are some good features in it that deserves a rating from your boy. So I'm going to leave it off with a Waterrock certified rating of a 3.2 out of 10. It's low, but this game really doesn't deserve anything over a 3, so you're welcome for going above that. So, COD this year is just using old content to satisfy the player base, but there's nothing we can do about it to change how this COD cycle is going to go. But surprisingly enough, COD isn't the only game that's using this tactic of abusing our nostalgia to keep players playing the game. Fortnite even brought back their Chapter 1 map for their latest season. They saw number peaks they haven't seen in years. Was this a good decision by the devs? Well, I have the answers for you right here in this video on screen you can watch right now. But that's all from me. We'll see y'all in the next one.